Mina's new character is she's an angel in Lost in Space because it looks like you have a halo around your head in the shot.
What can I say? Hello, hello.
Good to see you. You are stepping into a series that is older than both of us. I'm quite a bit older than you in depth, so it's definitely a lot older than you. Is there a pressure when you step into such a well-established series to meet the expectation of the fans, a lot of which that are still living, new fans that are coming to this series? Is there some pressure with that?
There definitely is some pressure, and I think we all have a lot of really big shoes to fill, but what is very important that our executive producer says all the time is that it's not a season 4, it is a reimagining. And so there's definitely elements that I think will appeal to all of the original fans. And there are specific moments that if you know and you love the original series, you're going to know and love this as well as we've really carried forth with the original core values of, family and perseverance and being uplifting. But at the same time, we have updated it to, our modern times, and even then 30 years in the future. And there are parts of it that have changed. But at the same time, I think that you're not going to please everybody, and it's staying true to the series that you want to make and the character that you want to show that's important.
It's so exciting to see women who are in this role. They're a part of the original cast too, and such strong roles with intelligence and emphasis on technology, and it's such a right time for these type of pieces to emerge with women in these roles. Can you talk a little bit about the young ladies who you affect in your role by having such that depth of knowledge and intelligence in the series?
For sure. I think something that is so prevalent in our show is this idea of female empowerment, and women can do anything that men can do, whether you are in daily life or whether you're working in a male-dominated world. And that's the idea of this vision that we've had 30 years in the future from now. There is this standard where it's never a question. We have a female doctor and we have a female scientist, but you never know them as such. You know them as a doctor and a scientist, and that's what's important. And for the younger members of the cast and for the younger generation that's going to be watching it, I think it's actually just as important for a young generation of girls to be able to see a woman hero as shaping a young generation of boys to be able to relate with a woman hero and know that there is no question about it.
We know that you had the opportunity, when we just spoke to Will a little while ago, they shot the whole thing in a studio, but you guys were out there in the trenches, Vancouver and other places that you were shooting. What were some of the challenges in shooting in some of those elements for the series?
Definitely the weather, which is something that I found is very unpredictable in Vancouver. There were a lot of times when, our filming would depend on the rain or on the sunlight, and that became a challenge because you're working against the elements, literally. But at the same time, I guess that challenge and that level of being uncomfortable, it fits into it, because this is not a show that, from an acting perspective, you need to be comfortable in. So at the end of the day, I actually think it worked out. But in the moment of it, it was not a good time.
And lastly, with Netflix, people have the privilege of being able to watch it all at once. Should they binge watch it 7-10 hours at a time, or space it out over the course of the week to kind of build up that anticipation? I
personally am a big fan of binge watching, but I also think that if you were to separate it with however, 1 episode at a time, 2 episodes at a time, it could work either way, but I would definitely go with binge watching. That's just me.
Thank you so much for stopping.
Thank you.
Pleasure talking to you.